DA that won't have sex with his employees.
If you chose to have inappropriate contact with employees,
Because we deserve better.
I certainly will not be choosing people to date that work under me.
What is good, YouTube family? It's your boy Shy. We back again with the Black Anomaly Rising channel. So, Fani Willis hearing day 2. Okay, so the second day of the hearing for District Attorney Fani Willis and the possibility of her being dismissed from this Trump trial or even having the indictments dropped entirely is still on the table. Now, there's a lot of things that happen, and I don't want to make like 100 different videos about this, so maybe there's some other channels that do that, but I'm not going to do too many videos about this. But I will talk about something that I have not seen other people talk about, which is the testimony for Terrence Bradley. So this guy was a previous partner with Nathan Wade. Okay, so they had a law firm where it was like 3 of these guys working together. I'm guessing all black men working together, which is fine, you know, whatever. So they were all working together, but one of the things that happened throughout the trial is they said that this guy was a key witness. Now, why they consider him a key witness is that I'm guessing that Bradley knew about Nathan and Fani Willis having been together prior to Trump indictment time of November 2021. That's my guess, is that they have strong evidence to suggest that he knows that Fani Willis and Nathan was together. Okay, now, does he know? He refused to say. When they asked him the question, he literally said he could not answer it because of attorney-client privilege. Take a look.
Mr. Bradley.
Yes, ma'am.
You have knowledge that their relationship began in 2019.
I do not have knowledge, but again, I have consulted with the bar as late as yesterday at 4 o'clock. I am not here to...
Your testimony is that you do not have independent knowledge.
I cannot... I was advised by the bar that Rule 1.6 of confidentiality applies and that I cannot reveal anything that I saw or learned. And that if the court is asking me to do that, that an immediate certificate of review should be asked. And so I'm not here to misrepresent to the court or to say anything inappropriate or anything. I am here because I also have a law license, and I'm not trying to lose that.
Now, later on, this did not work out too well because it blew up in his face. Now, one of the things that I don't really understand about this is Fani Willis's attorney. She's the one who actually brought up an issue with there being sexual assault allegations against him, and therefore proving that he lied about attorney-client privilege being the reason why he left the organization. And the thing that's weird about this is I don't really get how this helps in the case. Like, if this guy doesn't speak on anything and they ask him a bunch of questions, but he just attorney-client privilege, then they're never going to get anywhere with him, and that would help Fani Willis. But instead, her attorney proved that he lied, which in my opinion is not a good thing at all. I don't really understand. Take a look.
You were asked questions, Mr. Bradley, about the circumstances under which you left the firm. Do you recall those questions?
I do.
All right. And you left the firm. The firm remained the same as far as other employees, Mr. Wade, Mr. Campbell, as the named partners of the firm. You were the one who left, correct?
That is correct.
And you termed it as a disagreement. You recall answering questions as though you left due to a disagreement. Yes?
Yes.
And that disagreement was that there was an allegation of sexual assault by an employee made against you, correct?
That is incorrect.
There was not an allegation that you sexually assaulted one of the employees in the firm.
That is incorrect, but yes. Yes.
Yes, there was an allegation that you sexually assaulted a member of the firm, correct?
Yes, there was an allegation, yes.
And as a result of that allegation, you left.
I did.
You were no longer business partners with Mr. Wade.
That is correct.
The firm remained intact, and in fact, the employee involved remained with the firm, correct?
I'm not certain of that. They did leave the building, of course, and I don't know. Some of the employees did leave.
Mr. Bradley, you in fact paid that employee $20,000, correct?
That is
Help me! Help me!
that is incorrect as far as what was. No.
On or about the time that you left the firm, and on or about the time that the allegation of sexual assault was made against you, did you pay the person who had made the allegation of sexual assault any amount of money?
There was money left in an escrow that belonged to me. I don't know what that amount was.
And did that money that was left in the escrow that belonged to you, was that paid to the employee who said that you sexually assaulted her?
I never signed any. I never gave any money. I left the money in the escrow account. What happened to that money? I can't. I don't know what happened to it.
That's count! That's count! That's count!
For what purpose did you leave the money in the escrow account when you left the firm?
I left the money in the escrow account.
For what purpose, sir?
There was no purpose.
You just left the money in the escrow account?
Yes.
If there's no connection to the money you left in the escrow account and the allegations of sexual assault that an employee of your firm made against you, why was it that you brought to my attention, or why did you respond the way you did about money in an escrow account when my question was, did you pay this employee any money?
I didn't hand any money. It was money from an escrow account, to my knowledge.
To your knowledge, where did the money in the escrow account go?
To the employee.
To that employee. Were there 2 incidents where you sexually assaulted this employee?
No, I didn't sexual assault anybody.
Was there another occasion where you paid any money as a result of an allegation of sexual assault against you?
No.
Did you sexually assault any clients of your firm?
No.
Never.
Never.
Who's Anna Rodriguez?
Help me!
And I believe it's an appropriate avenue to pursue based on exploring his credibility.
All right. At some point, though.
I'm not
It won't.
going to go much further.
Okay.
Judge, if this is allowed to continue in this way, it does appear a little bit harassing, then is Mr. Bradley going to be excused from his privilege because this is not...
That's what I was going to do. Don't do that yet.
Mr. Chopra,
Sit on it. I think she's already done that.
based on the answer right now, I think now we've opened up a whole area. What he has just responded to, he previously said was privilege. That doesn't sound like privilege to me. We'll have to address that when we go back through the rundown. So where I think we are with this is that Mr. Bradley previously testified that the reason he left the firm was totally and completely covered by privilege. When asked by the state, he went into a factual scenario that, to my mind, I don't see how it relates to privilege at all. And so now I'm left wondering if Mr. Bradley has been properly interpreting privilege this entire time. And I think the only way I can cure that is by having that in-camera conversation with him. So the point is that the circumstances of his departure from the firm, from what I've now heard, had nothing whatsoever to do with his representation of a divorce. Is that fair?
My question, I believe the testimony has been that the circumstances of Mr. Bradley leaving the firm were related, I can't say how much, but certainly in a large part, based on the allegation of sexual assault that was made against him by an employer.
Sure. And his previous testimony was that that was totally covered by privilege.
Yes, he lied.
Is there some sort of chess moves that I'm not understanding here? Because why would she be the one, again, the Fonnie Willis's attorney, do something to effectively jeopardize the whole thing, where now this guy is going to do what they call like the judge is going to do like an in-camera interview where he's basically going to interview Bradley privately now. But the fact of the matter is he's still going to interview him more. Like, it seemed to me like, you know, the folks that are, you know, the prosecution of Fani Willis, it seems to me like they're, you know, they were kind of at the end of their rope. They couldn't really get around the attorney-client privilege, but instead, the defense for Fani Willis got around the fact that he was lying about attorney-client privilege, and the witness was not dismissed, right? So I don't know, are they going to try to say like, well, you can't trust his word because he's proved to be in contempt of court or perjurized the court, effectively lied to the court? I mean, that's what perjury means. You've lied to the court under oath. So either way, I mean, he, you know, may be in trouble. I don't really know if they really do anything if they find out you lied to the court. But as you can see, they didn't dismiss him, right? So, but if they question him more, then he could just reveal, he could become a positive witness to help get Fani Willis removed if he does reveal that he was aware that Nathan and Fani Willis were together, which he hasn't done yet, but he might. And I think that anybody who is using a brain knows that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade are lying about when a relationship started. I mean, but, you know, and especially I think about the cash, like Nathan pays for trips, Fani Willis pays him cash. That's just totally ridiculous. Sounds stupid and implausible, and you have to be a total nutcase if you believe that. In this judge, people saying that the judge is biased, and I do think that he did allow Fani Willis to go a little bit too unhinged in the courtroom.
And I didn't ask about living.
But you put in your, while we're talking about professionalism, while we're talking about professionalism, she put in 3 different documents.
Folks,
He
you'll
lived
have
with me.
full opportunity to respond. All right.
And at my
Folks,
home
I
in
think we're gonna
South
clarify
Fulton,
this. We'll break it
Miss, he never came there, okay? So if you don't come someplace, you can't live there.
Ms. Willis, I'm going to have to caution you. This is going to be the first time I have to caution you. We have to listen to the questions as asked. And if this happens again and again, I'm going to have no choice but to strike your testimony.
Probably because she's the DA, right? So he's probably just kind of letting her get away with more stuff that a lot of us cannot get away with. But I don't think that he has actually demonstrated actual bias outside of what I just mentioned, outside of letting Fani Willis go off a little bit too much. I don't think he's demonstrated bias. It seemed like to me like he's been fairly neutral, and he has a very solid and firm non-biased understanding of what's going on most of the time. Okay, now what's really going to happen with this? I mean, is Fani cooked? In my opinion, she is, because a lot of people are thinking about this as if it's criminal. They're thinking that they have to definitively prove that Fani Willis not only benefited, but like, for example, because we know she benefited from the trips, but what we don't know is if she truly paid Nathan back, and they think that we have to have definitive evidence, or some people think we have to have definitive evidence in order to get her removed from the case. I don't think that's the case, because the judge is the one who can make the determination of if she should be removed from the case, because she's not really on trial. It's just literally a hearing. She's not on like real trial for like a civil case where she's going to be charged with anything. She's not in criminal court. So you don't have that same burden of material evidence. Okay, so you don't have to prove it to make somebody get charged money or go to jail. That if they was trying to send her to jail or something similar, then yes, they would have to definitively prove it, in which case they would get more subpoenas and they would probably be able to definitively prove it, in my opinion. But in this case, they just have to convince the judge that she is effectively a liability on the Trump case. In my opinion, they've already done that, you know, and they really screwed this witness over. They literally laughed about it, which was kind of, I ain't gonna lie, I laughed about it too when I saw it. I was like, man, this is the most ridiculous soap opera ever. I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life, man. You know, maybe it's just, maybe I haven't lived long enough, but this is some of the craziest stuff I've seen. I even talked to my mom about this. She was loving every second of it. And she's not a fan of Fani Willis. Okay, we're all black. For those who say, you hate black people. Yeah, my mama's black. I don't hate my mom, you freaking idiots. I don't hate nobody of any race. I just dislike stupid people. But she's not a fan of Fani Willis either, because she says she's too arrogant. She's too sure of herself. She has no respect for the courtroom. And I say, you know what, Mom? I 100% agree. Anyway, y'all, look, we'll see what happens. At this point, I feel like it could go either way. Like, I really don't know. I don't know what the judge is thinking. I don't know what he's going to think when he has more time to think about it. But either way, I feel like this situation is so messy. It doesn't make sense to keep her on the Trump trial, because what's the point? Why not just get somebody else? Like, okay, Fani Willis, there's too much going on with you where it's still a possibility. And I think that there may be an issue here, even if we can't definitively prove it. Therefore, why don't we just get somebody else who doesn't have this situation going on? And then we ain't got to worry about that. You see what I'm saying? That makes the most sense to me. But some people might say, well, how's that fair to Fani Willis if you just take her off of something without definitive proof? So I could see both sides of it. I don't know. I mean, we got witness testimony. Of course, Fani Willis is going to say she didn't do anything wrong, but her friend says she did. So, I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what y'all think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her.
No doubt.